The Associated Press recently decided that LeBron James is worthy of being Athlete of the Decade. Floyd Mayweather Jr. didn't very much agree with that. Not only does he feel that he should be Athlete of the Decade in question, 2010 to 2019, but he is actually also Athlete of the previous decade. Now, I can kind of sympathise with Money May. If you look at the winners in previous years of the Associated Press, going back, I think, all the way to 1931, it's very much in favour of American sports, baseball, basketball, and NFL. So it's got a bit of a parochial view in terms of giving such a huge accolade. It's got to be said, outside of the States, certainly things like baseball, in that nationalistic sports bubble, a lot of people really don't give a shit about them. And if you compare the athletic accolades of a baseball player to the likes of a track and field athlete, I really can't see the comparison if we're going off pure athleticism. So I can kind of see Mayweather's annoyance. Now, he referenced, as he always does, Forbes magazine, and the fact that he's never had any really big sponsors behind him like Nike. So he sees that as a reason perhaps he's more of an independent force who's just been a trailblazer, made his own money, and that is deserving of more credit. As just a more basic point, again, sympathising with Floyd, boxing, as George Foreman once said, is the sport to which all others aspire. You've got the speed, the strength, the athleticism, the agility, the stamina, all of that in spades, and yet then you've got all the intangibles, which a lot of other sports only really touch upon. Whereas boxing, because it harnesses them, because those basic things about your character are so exposed in the ring, other sports often lend off the vernacular of boxing to try and dramatise what's going on. You hear it in football, you hear it in tennis, fighting back, don't count them out. This all comes from the most pure type of competition, which is one-on-one combat. Again, Floyd's problem is he always just references money, though he doesn't quite get it when he's not getting an award. There was a few years ago when he was in Brixton over here in England, in London, and a woman was saying she didn't know who Floyd was, for a start, so Mayweather was quite taken aback. She was saying, I remember all the great fighters. I remember Mike Tyson and Frank Bruno. And Mayweather was just like, check the cash register, check Forbes. But that isn't what makes people remember you. That isn't what you attribute greatness to. When Floyd Mayweather starts to get older, when the money stays or goes, when that goatee starts to go a little bit grey, people aren't going to remember those exploits the same, just the numbers of being undefeated. Mike Tyson at one point could have been the richest boxer ever. Could have been the first billionaire. Easy. That isn't why people gravitated towards Mike Tyson, though. It wasn't to do with money. Mike Tyson gave a certain excitement to your average Joe, the everyday man. He created an excitement, a feeling that made people gravitate towards him and inspired them. And he seared something into our consciousness with just his wrath in the ring that we'll never forget, in a way that Floyd Mayweather, as skillful and as great as he was to watch at times earlier in his career, he will never have. So I can kind of sympathise with the guy, but really where Floyd Mayweather's mastery really lay was in the way he played his chosen sport. He played it like a grand master at chess. He approached everything really calculated. In between the bell, he was really on point. Later on in his career, he'd just do enough to secure rounds. Brilliant economic style of fighting. But that's just not what really resonates with people. And it's great that he's got away with his health. You hear so many punchy guys these days. James Toney, Thomas Hearns, real fan favourites. So it's fantastic that Mayweather has secured that aspect of his legacy, that he's healthy. But when it comes to those conversations later in life, when we're all older, when we can no longer really participate in the rat race, and we have to just try and harvest what was, Mayweather's stories aren't really gonna resonate with us. And He's just going to kind of have to accept that as he gets older.